All right, good evening. I'd like to call to order tonight's Common Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, September 9th, and it is 7 p.m. I'll ask our city clerk, Joanne Marcon, to call the roll.
Mayor Kim Smith,
Here.
Jim Benash,
Here.
Kathy Lohendorf. Here. Stephen Knott,
Present.
Mike Milky,
Here. Larry
Jurassic,
Present.
Diane Wolf. Here.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that. Item 3, the rules of the Onalaska Common Council and its subcommittees. This is a harassment-free forum. The city council and subcommittee meetings shall be conducted in a courteous manner. Citizens, council, and committee members shall be allowed to state their positions in an atmosphere free of slander, obscene remarks, or threats of violence. Sufficient warnings may be given by the sergeant at arms or the chair at any time during the remarks, and in the event that any individual shall violate the rules of decorum as set forth, such person may then be cut off from comment or debate. Item 4, public input. Any person from the public who wishes to address the Common Council on any item may do so at this time. If you choose to address the Common Council, please begin by stating your name and your address, and please limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Would anyone like to address the Common Council this evening? Second call for anyone wishing to address the Common Council this evening. Third and final call for public input this evening. Public input is now closed, and I'll move on to item 5, which is a report from the mayor. Item A is clarification regarding the municipal vehicle registration fee start date. Because this is something new that we are starting and we had to work with this through the state. We've been getting a few contacts from citizens regarding getting notifications with the fee on their vehicle registration fees already. And so we want to just make a clear statement and everyone aware in the record that any future changes regarding the vehicle registration, regarding perhaps the sunset date, any increases or decreases to the fee, will use this starting date of that it would be changing, reflecting the date when it has actually started, which was not as we initially anticipated that it would be. It was an unanticipated start date from the viewpoint of the users. Item B is appointment of Jennifer Kazarowski to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Jennifer had served previously on the library board. You may remember her before the organization into the Park Library and Recreation Board. A brief bio of her is in the packet, and I hope that you will support her appointment to that board, and it'll need a motion.
I move to approve the appointment of Jennifer Kazarowski to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Second.
Motion by Diane Wolf, seconded by Stephen Knott to appoint Jennifer Kazarowski to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Is there any discussion? Joanne?
We will need to do this by roll call.
Okay. If the motion on the floor is to appoint Jennifer Kazarowski to the Board of Zoning Appeals, please answer when your name is called.
Kathy Lohendorf.
Aye.
Stephen Knott.
Aye.
Mike Milky.
Aye.
Jim Benash.
Aye.
Diane Wolf.
Aye.
Larry Jurassic.
Aye.
This appointment has been approved. Thank you very much. Item C is a presentation by Assistant Fire Chief Jeremy Southworth on the Wisconsin Task Force 1 on behalf of the Onalaska Fire Department. Jeremy.
Thank you, Your Honor. If you look in your packets, number 5C kind of gives a brief overview from Chief Fleddy on what Task Force 1 is. I'm going to give you a very high-level overview of Task Force 1 and how we are involved with Task Force 1 and potential impact that we might have on this team going forward. So in late July, when the state's budget was finalized, it essentially gave Wisconsin Task Force 1 the ability to double in size. And so they're going to go from 40-ish to like 80, 90. So there's kind of a broad number there. So anyway, there's an opportunity for members to join Task Force 1, which is a team that can be deployed statewide or nationwide in the form of a technical rescue team. So they're highly trained individuals who are made up of members from different organizations throughout the state with the intent that in the event that there's a deployment, they can pull upon resources throughout the state so that you're not taxing one municipality in general. And so that your resources are spread out, not only spreading the wealth, if you will, but also decreasing the mobilization time of these teams. So Chief Fleddy and I, after we were given this notice in July, attended some virtual trainings or informational meetings in regard to Task Force 1 to learn what the expectations of the team were, what our role would be in the event that we allocated individuals to this team, what it would look like for the city of Onalaska. And being that we have 6 members that are currently trained through some of the facets of Task Force 1, we thought it would be a good idea to get involved. So we have gone through the process and looked, and we believe it'll be a benefit to our organization, not only having members on the team by serving on that team, but they'll bring all of the resources back that they're going to learn through this training. Each individual will receive about 240 hours of specialized technical rescue training, all of which is paid for. So it wouldn't cost the city anything to be part of the team, and all of their time from basically door to door is compensated, as well as all lodging and meals. So we wouldn't be on the hook for anything in the event that one of our members was chosen to be on the team. So with that, we have discussed with the city at some length about the possibility of allocating some of our members, and we came to the conclusion that 1 or 2 members would be the amount that we would be willing to put our name in the hat for. So being that there were only about 50 openings for this Task Force 1, 97 allocations have been requested, so the chances of us getting both members on the team are probably slim. But we are hoping at least one of our members is chosen to be part of this team, not only for the benefit to the team itself, but for the benefit that they would bring back to our organization as well. So any quick questions, comments, concerns?
Thank you for that, Jeremy. Does anyone have a quick question about this? It was more for information, so you're aware of this opportunity. Alder Benash?
This training would take place where would it?
All of the training takes place, it's all deployed out of Oakfield in Camp Douglas. And so that's where all of the training would take place at the REACT Center. And our members have already gone through Swiftwater technician and boat operations through that same organization. So we're kind of already in the system. We're just not technically part of the team yet.
I see here that it says they could be deployed up to 16 days possibly.
Correct. So in as our weather changes, the most common thing that they're being deployed for right now is flooding. So the team was deployed into Texas earlier this year, as well as Milwaukee. So it's not only deployed in state, but it can also be deployed nationally.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Alder Jurassic?
Would firefighting be part of it or?
No, it's all technical rescue. And so there are rope rescue, structural collapse, trench rescue, confined space, heavy machinery, anything that that falls into the wheelhouse of technical aspects of rescue.
So the forest fires out in California would?
Nope, no, more so like Cambria had a mill explosion. They went down to that, the flooding, structural collapse, that kind of thing is kind of their specialty.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Alder Knott?
Yeah, so my understanding, there actually is one cost, but the only cost then would be the loss of availability for up to 2 weeks, or was it 16 days?
Correct, but also the reimbursement would cover overtime costs as well to have
Yeah.
that position filled.
Yeah, so the cost won't be dollars, but it could be potentially time and availability.
Potentially, which is why we are only allocating 1 or up to
Roger.
2. But
Okay.
I would suggest 1 would be the limit that they would give us.
So with this potential national level response, this is all at Volfield? There won't be any of this training like at Camp Atterbury or anything like that?
Nope. So they have 3 required trainings that they go to each year. One of them is a 72-hour long-term drill, if you will, and the other 2 are just 1 full days. And they send out the schedule about a year in advance, and they do each training 3 times, so we can alter when they go to best fit our schedule.
Okay, thank you.
But all of it for the Wisconsin React Task Force 1 team would take place at Volk Field in Camp Douglas.
But Stephen, for clarity, they would cover the absence of the person with overtime.
I
and the
got that in the
overtime
memo.
is reimbursed, so it wouldn't really be the loss of a person.
Well, it would be the loss of the availability of that person locally for 16 days is what I'm saying. That's the cost. It's not in dollars. It's not in overtime. There is a cost. It's minimal, but we have 1 or 2 fewer fighters available for 16 days. That's the cost.
Okay,
So, yeah. Okay.
okay, any other questions?
Do you need to make a motion on this or?
Nope, it was for information only. We just wanted you to be aware of this opportunity,
Okay.
and we don't know yet if anybody will get to go, but
Can I throw one last caveat in there? I forgot. Like, if there is a clause in the agreement, if you will, if our members join this team, that if it does cause a hardship to the city of Onalaska, for staffing, we do have the ability to decline deployment.
Oh, okay. That's,
So,
like, say we were already short-staffed for whatever reason, we just didn't have enough people, like
Where I
your,
was
like
going.
your example, we could just say, oh, it's not gonna work. Okay, good point, Jeremy, thanks. Okay. Recommendation for approval under possible action from the following committees, commissions, boards, or officials. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member requests removal, in which event the items will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in the order of business on the non-consent agenda. Are there any items the councilors would like removed from the consent agenda? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to pass it one way or the other.
I'll move
Motion to
to,
approve the consent agenda.
second.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda by Diane Wolf. It was seconded by Larry Jurassic. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. The consent agenda has been approved. Moving on to the non-consent agenda. The first item 7 is a recap of items from pulled from the consent agenda. There were none. Item 8 is the Finance Committee. I will turn it over to Alder Mike Melky.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 8 is the vouchers, and this would be the total money expended since the last common council meeting dated August 12th, 2025. Total being $6,603,928.35. And I'll move to approve.
second.
Motion on the floor by Mike Milky. It's been seconded by Alder Stephen Knott to approve the vouchers as described. Is there any discussion? Sabrina Steger?
Thank you. I would just add, this is a rather large voucher. This is for our bond payments, so the bank draft will be a wire to pay our debt for the city.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion on the vouchers? Okay. All those in favor of approving the vouchers as described, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. The vouchers are approved unanimously. Item 9, Administrative Committee. I'll turn it over to Alder Stephen Knott.
Yes, this is for temporary alcohol beverage license, AKA picnic license for Onalaska High School Alumni Association, Inc., for an all-class reunion to be held at the Dash Center located at 515 Quincy Street on Saturday, October 11th from 4 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. This application came in too late to be included on the standard A&F agenda, so it has not been voted on by one of our subcommittees. Now we'll move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the temporary alcohol beverage license. Motion was made by Stephen Knott. It's been seconded by Mike Milky. Is there further discussion? Okay, motion is to approve. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 10, Human Resource Director Report. Amy Franzen.
Good evening. This is another item that came in after the Administrative and Finance Committee meeting as well, a discussion on the potential of hiring another police officer. We do have a police officer who is currently deployed as of Friday, extended leave for about a year, so not returning until next September. That is a second police officer on a military deployment at the current moment. We do have another one that's expected to return in November that's been gone for about a year as well. So knowing that the typically with the police officer recruitment, it is about a 5-6 month process. In order to get that process started, looking for consideration on hiring, again, in addition to the current staffing levels.
Okay, thank you. Rick Niemeyer?
I'll just add a couple of things as well too. So there are a number of officers that are eligible for retirement next year. What's that, number 7, I believe?
Correct.
And so there are a number of officers who could potentially retire at any given time. Again, no one has officially given any kind of notice, so we're not aware of any. However, with the deployments that are currently going on and with the potential of retirements, looking at adding another officer to help fill the shifts that need to be filled. There would be an offset in regards to the ability to pay for this particular position. So with the deployment, there would be some vacated wages that is anticipated. Again, it's not a guarantee, but it's anticipated would essentially be offset by the new officers' wages. The reason it starts a little bit early is there is an academy that starts in February. And if the applicant happens to be an individual that needs to go through the academy, that process, by the time you hire them and get them on board in time for the academy, it needs to start sooner rather than later. So that is a big reason why this is coming forward now versus later on. So as Amy indicated, that process will take some time to do. If they go through the academy, again, they're at 75% of their wages during that period of time. And then when hired on, they get their full wages. So again, it's anticipated that those wages could be offset from each other. However, there may be some benefits, approximately $20,000 that we would need to absorb if this were to move forward. So I just want to give a little bit of additional information and context to that. And certainly I would invite Chief Ashbeck if he wants to add any additional comments as well.
Thank you. To be honest, you covered it very well, both of you, so I'm not sure I really have much to add other than this discussion really came up when Amy and I met about the upcoming hiring process. And, you know, unfortunately, if we don't hear about a retirement until, let's say, February, then it's too late to get anyone on our eligibility list into that academy. And so then that really sets us back at least 4 months. And so this would be a huge time saver to get somebody back on the road and help cover if we could get authorization ahead of time.
What's the desire of the council?
Make a motion to move forward with the approval of hiring an additional police officer.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Alder Jim Benash. It's been seconded by Alder Larry Jurassic to move forward with hiring 1 police officer. Any discussion, Alder Not?
Yeah, had circumstances been different, this would have been an easy one for me, right? But right now, I'm not sure where I'm going to go. We're just so tight based on previous decision without yet knowing how we're going to be able to pay for 6 new hires. Here's the amount of risk that this has is low, but the one would think that we would have a retirement over the course of the next 15 months or so. But there are other issues too. People can come home from deployment on emergency leave. You can have change of mission in the combat. Well, I don't know if where he's at actually, in the theater that they're at. And then you can also have a reduction in force in the theater that they're at. So there, you know, I mean, it is potential, very low potential, but potential. This individual who just deployed could come back before that year is up. And then now we're absorbing far more than 20,000. Plus, the risk we're assuming is if there is the individual comes back and we don't have a retirement, now we have a $100,000 expense in 2027 that we weren't expecting, which again, if things had been different, you know, a month ago, I would have said we can still assume this risk because we can probably find that until there is a retirement, so that will eventually happen. So I just want folks to know this is one of the unintended consequences right now of spending everything is that if this person comes back early or we don't have a retirement, we really have a problem because we don't even have $100,000. I don't know where we're going to pay for this in 2027 if we don't have a retirement. We've spent it all. We don't have room to hire anyone else. So you need to know that.
Any other questions or comments? Alderman Nash?
Stephen makes a good point, but has this gone to the Police and Fire Commission yet? I mean, to be setting up an eligibility list? I believe it has. So what would be the earliest that an officer would be put on possibly the payroll? That is, even if they go through the academy, would they still be considered on the payroll?
I could speak to that. So the timeline, again, if we're going to post this position for 4 to 6 weeks would be standard. That puts us at physical agility testing, written exam at the end of October. We would be conducting interviews in November. We'd be conducting background checks, end of November into December. We'd have contingent offers based on medical screening, and then we'd have confirmed offers, and that gets us to the February 9th date. So again, it seems like a long way out, but really it's quite a tight timeline to get that process started in order to get somebody on board by February.
The next question I would have would be for Sabrina. Do we have any contingencies based on what Alder Knott just mentioned about the what ifs?
That's a loaded question. Obviously, we do have our reserves to fall back on. We don't know where we're going to end for the budget for 2026, and I can't predict 2027 at this time. Like our net new construction, I budgeted that it was going to be 1% like it was prior years, and it was 0.705. So it was less than 1%, which added about $60,000 to our budget for 2026. So there's no way I can predict where we're going to be at for 2027. I think we will make it work for 26, but you are taking a gamble for 27.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, any other discussion?
I had a, you
Okay.
said,
Kathy Londorf, go ahead.
sorry, you said that they're deployed for approximately,
Is your mic on, Kathy?
sorry, you said they're deployed for approximately how long?
The officer that just deployed is expected to be out for a year, so next September approximately.
And assuming that this person goes through the academy in February, how long before they're actually able to get out and replace the person that's deployed?
It would be ideal or under ideal circumstances, mid-October, by the time they were on the road on their own and counted.
Of next year.
Correct.
So then potentially the person that's deployed now is already back by the time we ramp up and get this next person out. And then we just have to hope that either I don't want to hope that somebody's deployed longer or hope that somebody's able to retire to.
Right. It's kind of a combo of, I don't know it's so much to replace the officer that's on deployment as is to preemptively or be proactive in trying to replace a potential retirement that comes in after the time that we can send them to the academy. That's my biggest fear is we get notification in February, March or so, and then we've missed that window. So now we have to wait till June to send this person to the academy. If they're even still interested in the job because of the job market, now that's several months later. Assuming they are, now it's mid-February of 2027 before they actually count on the road. That's where it puts us.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Amanda, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to add on to what the chief said. We just barely made it through 6 people retiring because we didn't plan ahead. And so I think this is we know we have 7 eligible. Let's really hope they don't all go at once, but this is a way with vacated wages that we could at least get one person up and on board for when the first one goes.
Okay, thank you. Alder Jurassic, I think you had something.
Yeah, that's the same comment I was gonna say. It was, we're talking about one person retiring. Well, there's actually 5 others that could very well possible. So fill the slot now as much as we can.
Right. Okay. All right. Alder Wolf?
Thank you, Your Honor. I think I've asked this in the past, maybe not at a council meeting, but I assume we do not have any type of a policy. Like I know some companies do, or it's more, maybe it's an unwritten policy, but it's just kind of known, like at trained, if you're an engineer, they have let it be known, at least in the past, to give, they want 6 months notice. They're thrilled if they get 4, or they're thrilled if they get 6, but 4 to 6 months notice. I'm guessing we don't have anything, any type of policy like that, Amy?
For retirement, department heads are required to give a 30-day separation notice. Regular employees, we ask for 2 weeks notice.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Alder Knott?
Okay, so just was notified that the individual is on what I would call an ongoing mission, which alleviates some of my issue. I don't see where there'd be a change of mission or reduction in force for this. However, there is the emergency leave possibility if something were terrible to happen in his family back here. Still very, very low, and now a much lower risk for me for the next year. There's still the risk, though, of whether or not somebody retires in that time frame. So.
I think they're just looking at it more holistically, is like, this is just one more thing on top of an already kind of situation where there's just a lot of risk for a reduced police force and not a quick way to replenish it. But okay, any other discussion, or are we ready to go for a vote? Mike Milky?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick question with our new pay structure, moving forward next year. Is it possible that we would not have to hire someone brand new, that someone would, that have already been gone through the academy to replace somebody, just out of curiosity? And do you think our chance of recruiting and having someone like that come to us would be up, or I guess I'm just curious?
I certainly hope so. That was the intent of that contract, was to make it more appealing to attract lateral transfers. So I certainly hope so, but time will just tell, I guess, once we get it posted here later this month.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Alder Wolf, any last comments now, and then we'll go to the vote.
Thank you, Your Honor. I certainly can appreciate Alder Knott's concerns. Information is always so very valuable to have, but I think at the end of the day, I know what everyone has gone through when we are short and we're down police officers, and the stress that it adds for overtime and scheduling and everything else. And I, for one, I'm willing to hedge your bets that, and I will be approving this evening, but I certainly understand where Alder Knott's coming from, and I appreciate your side on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any last comments? Are we ready to vote? All right, we'll ask for a roll call vote then, Joanne. The motion on the floor is to approve moving forward with hiring one police officer.
Jim Benash,
Aye.
Kathy Lohendorf,
Aye.
Stephen Knott,
Aye.
Mike Milky,
Aye.
Larry Jurassic,
Aye.
Diane Wolf.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item 11, City Administrator Report. Rick?
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me, just a quick update on a couple of things. You received an email earlier, or I'm sorry, probably last week it was, regarding the ERP and UKG conversion, UKG. It's now time to go live. It's coming up here. So a lot of nervousness about it, but obviously our goal is to get things accomplished so that we can make life easier for staff. So the plan is to go live with a timekeeping on September 14th. And the ERP system officially, we can enter information into there on September 23rd. Again, if you had a chance to look at that previous email, this is a pretty big event for the city coming into these new systems. So again, we're excited about it. There's gonna be a lot of training that's gonna be going on over the next several weeks. So just please be patient as we navigate through this next process here. Just an update on operating budgets. We continued the budgeting process. I met with all department heads regarding their respective budgets, continue to work through the numbers and continue to have those conversations. Confident that there will be a balanced budget to present on October 14th. Many of you may have already heard, but last month, the Mississippi Valley Conservancy donated 80 acres of bluffland to the city, which was, obviously quite an amazing thing. Property is located out near French Road. The MVC does retain a conservation easement so that they can monitor the property to make sure it's being used properly, but really it's to maintain the natural beauty of our area. The ultimate plans is to make the property accessible to the public for hiking, bird watching, and other nature-based education and recreation. So that was a pretty amazing thing, and we're certainly happy about that. Mark your calendars for Monday at 1 o'clock. So that's September 15th, is coming Monday, for the All Abilities Playground groundbreaking ceremony. There has been some work being done out there already as they remove the existing playground structure and do some groundwork to get ready for the installation to occur. So if you're able to attend, please be out there on Monday at 1. Do want to give a special thank you to the Lions Club for being such an instrumental partner in getting this project accomplished. I had the opportunity to do a police ride-along on August 28th with Officer Whitcraft. I'm going to go on record to say I apologize. I think I spelled his name wrong in one of my weekly updates, but I got it right here. But in any event, it was nice to do a ride-along, see the things that happen on a day-to-day basis when they're out on the road. And then the last thing is just the police staffing and facility study. Currently in the process of reviewing those proposals. More to come on that. That's everything on the update. And move on to the Town of Holland. Sorry. The discussion and possible action regarding the Town of Holland study related to shared fire services. Just to do a little bit of background on this, just as a refresher. So last winter, I was at a conference and was talking with some colleagues, and in the conversation was made aware of some grant funding that was available to explore the possibility of doing shared services. This grant opportunity is available to any municipality across the state in regards to looking at opportunities to share services in some form or fashion. In order to utilize the grant funding, the applicant had to be a municipality with a population of 5,000, 5,000 or less. And so looking at, the city of Onalaska, the town of Onalaska, village of Holmen, and the town of Holland, looking at, is there some opportunity there for any kind of shared services? So the town of Holland did apply for the grant, and they did receive it. And the report that is included in your packet was the report that was made as a result of the consultant taking a look at certain aspects. Since that report came out, the municipalities have met again. So we met last Thursday at the Town of Holland Town Hall, just to have a discussion about what, if any, next steps would there be. So the conversation was good and it was lively. We had some good conversation about what would the next steps look like, particularly as they're outlined in the report. But before we got too far into what the next steps specifically were, we did talk a little bit about the Village of Holmen is currently conducting their own facilities and staffing study, just as we did a year, however long ago it was. And so as the consultants are going through that process, and there is a conversation about whether or not shared services might be something to explore going forward, the question came up as to whether or not this consultant should have the city and town of Onalaska's data to enter in to see if the location of any facilities regarding the village of Holmen might be changed as a result of what our data looks like as well. So the conversation was whether we should provide our data to the consultant, and then they would incorporate that into the study. As that conversation was continuing on, there was a talk about because the scope of services that the current facilities, and staffing consultant has does not include the city and town of Onalaska. The conversation was, are both municipalities willing to contribute something towards the expanded scope of the services? So the request was made at this meeting for both the city of Onalaska and the town of Onalaska to contribute not more than $2,000 each towards the expanded scope of services. They were looking for an answer at the meeting, but of course, we have not had this conversation in a capacity where you can provide input, you can ask questions, you can decide what you want to do, which direction you want to go. So I simply said that I needed to have a conversation with our council, and then I would get back to them after having this conversation. So that is kind of a background in regards to kind of where we are now. Holman they need to move forward sooner rather than later in regards to what they're going to do with their facilities. And there are other grant opportunities out there that are available for various different things for staffing and for services. And so they're going to be making a decision soon. So they wanted a decision from the two municipalities sooner rather than later in regards to whether they are willing to contribute the $2,000 and if this is something that we want to have incorporated into their study. So that's one purpose of tonight on the agenda, was to give you the information, answer any questions that we can possibly answer. And then two was to address the issue of the $2,000, if that is something that the city of Onalaska is willing to move forward with, and I can notify them accordingly.
Okay, questions or comments? Larry Jurassic,
No, putting to Diane.
Diane Wolf.
Okay, thank you. So Rick, regarding attachment 11B, the actual grant study, if both municipalities were to contribute their 2,000 equals 4,000, are they looking to bring in more of our information and then just add to this?
Okay, that isn't for that report.
Correct.
They're doing a facility study similar to the study that we did for the staffing. You know how we just got done doing a
Yeah.
study for like doing a staffing study and facility study where
Yes.
it came up with a long-range plan for
Right.
relocating our fire house and different things like that.
Okay,
That's what Holman is doing with a different
Oh.
consultant.
and us adding.
And they aren't
with
quite
that.
done with that yet.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
And so this particular study that was in the packet focused more on, was supposed to focus more on how the northern municipalities could work together
Okay.
to form like a North Fire District,
Okay,
is what the packet one is.
that makes sense, thank you.
So with the information there, then they're saying, now that we know this, we're almost done with this other study. And if we were going to try to co-locate for a future firehouse, we would need to have your information combined with our information for calls for service. But part of the issue is they need to figure out what they're going to do right now. And our issue is we feel like there's a lot of things that have to be figured out first before we're ready to commit to co-locating. And so that's kind of where we're at a point where we need to figure some things out. I don't know, Rick, if that.
Very well said.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
well,
But this doesn't lock
Okay,
us
so-
into anything, does it?
Diane has the floor, but we'll come right back to you, Larry.
And secondly, we have our assistant fire chief in the audience, and I like to have his input, what your thoughts are on the request of $2,000 from us.
I always say more information is better. We did just complete a fairly lengthy staffing and facility study. Holman is in the 9th inning of their staffing and facility study. And if we can have more information by combining the two for 2,000, obviously it's a non-budgeted item. But if we can gather some valuable information on there by combining the two and not either one of us putting a station in the wrong spot. And, potentially there could be a lot bigger cost savings in relation to the $2,000.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Larry, go ahead then.
I'm sorry, he answered the question already.
All right, that's how we like it.
Efficient.
Yep.
All right, any other questions or comments from the counselors? Alder Lohendorf?
There's not any additional risk to us outside of the financial investment, right, of sharing our information?
No, correct. Nope, those reports are public records, so.
It is already public information.
And I will add, the plan, we did discuss the $2,000, and the plan would be is to take it out of the other contractual services within the fire department with hopes that they maybe come under another one, and if not, at the end of the year, if there are any additional monies that would be applied in that way. So again, it's a relatively nominal amount in the large scheme of things, so that would be the plan for the additional money. So we are not requesting for it to come out of the general fund or reserves or anything.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
The only comment would be, I look at it as a possibility of them someday possibly helping us find a better location for that second fireplace, fire station, excuse me. And if this information is what they need, for $2,000, I can't see a problem with it.
Thank you. Amanda Jackson?
Just for clarification, I think we would like a motion and a vote on this.
Yes.
So,
Yep, I just didn't want it to, it doesn't need to come out of the general fund, but yes, a
Yeah.
motion to approve it.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Alder Knott. It's been seconded by Alder Wolf to move forward with an amount not to exceed $2,000 to be paid toward I'm not sure how to word it.
The Village of Holman Facilities and Fire Study.
To be paid to the Village of Holman, or it actually isn't the Village of Holman, it's the fire district.
Correct.
Jeremy, what is the correct word?
I think the company is Five Bugles is the one that's doing their study. I don't know if it's going to them in general or the
Okay,
village itself.
okay.
I think you can just say $2,000 to the appropriate party for the purposes of.
For the purposes of the fire study, the joint fire study. And that money would just come from the fire department at this time. Okay, sorry about that, Kurt. Any further discussion? Alderman Ash.
I know this is something that's been talked about for quite some time now. I'm talking about years. And there are other municipalities that are sharing fire department services. So this isn't a new topic for the area. This is something that's been brought up years before. So it might be high time that we really give this serious consideration to move forward with this.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, the motion on the floor is to approve the $2,000 toward the study. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 12, City Attorney Report. This is a discussion and possible action on litigation regarding fire vehicle pricing. The Common Council may convene in closed session under Section 1985 1G of the Wisconsin State Statutes for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. The City Council may reconvene in open session to take the necessary action and/or continue with the printed agenda. If no action is taken, the council may adjourn from the closed session. We'll ask our city attorney, Amanda Jackson, to introduce this topic to the council.
Yeah, in this matter, I don't have any additional information to give you other than what's in the printed agenda, but would rather ask that we go into closed session to discuss litigation regarding fire vehicle pricing.
Thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion for the council to go into closed session to address this potential litigation.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, motion was made by Stephen Knott. It's been seconded by Larry Jurassic. The voting will be by roll call.
Kathy Loendorf.
Aye.
Stephen Knott.
Aye.
Mike Milky.
Aye.
Jim Benash.
Aye.
Diane Wolf. Larry Jurassic.
Aye.
We are in closed session. The time is 7:44. Thank you all for coming in.